Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure you already heard the news. So we're going to spare you no time. We're going to get right to it. The Utah Jazz, ladies and gentlemen, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, are willing to entertain trades for Donovan Mitchell. So Woj tweeted out about 5:38 p.m. He said, after previously shutting down inquiries on moving all-star guard Donovan Mitchell, rival teams say the Utah Jazz are showing a willingness to listen on possible trade scenarios. And then to take it a little bit further, Tony Jones, who is from The Athletic, a reporter for The Athletic, said expect the New York Knicks to quickly try and put together a package for Donovan Mitchell, according to league sources. Utah's bar for trading Mitchell is sky high, but the Knicks are a team that has the assets to make this a conversation. Like you just seen it, Josh. Utah wants a lot for Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks have the assets to make it happen. The question is, will they use those assets to make it happen? Because they do want a lot for Donovan Mitchell. What's your thoughts?
Sam, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. First of all, listen, everyone knows the Knicks need a star player. They need a go-to guy at the end of games they can get the ball to be able to knock down shots. And Donovan Mitchell is that guy. Let's just call it what it is. He is that guy. As far as the compensation is concerned, I'm not really that concerned because the Knicks have an abundance of picks, right? They can be able to throw more picks than almost any other team in the NBA outside of Oklahoma City, I think. Now, I even think the Knicks have more picks than Oklahoma City at this point. First-round picks, that is, right? So I'm not really concerned about the picks. And, I think we have the salaries to make it work. I think, obviously, you have to start off with Julius Randle. Start off with that, and I think the roster will continue to be more balanced because you get rid of Randle. Now you start Nobi, and I just think it works. It works. So you start with Randle, and then you probably throw in a young player, a couple young players or two, and I think the Knicks will still be good as far as the young talent. You're adding someone who's a star player who's only 24 years old. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it if the Knicks are able to make this happen. I don't think it's going to happen right now, but I am all for it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's crazy that it comes out now. Right? It makes me think that there's been discussions going on, and the Utah Jazz were like, no, we're not moving Donovan Mitchell. But then they started to get the sense from Donovan Mitchell and his team that he doesn't really want to be in Utah. Right? And so Danny Ainge just like, you know what? Let's not play around. I don't want a disgruntled star player. Let's move on from it and make something happen. You know what I mean? And maybe they're at that point, And if you're going to do something, you have a month and a half to get it done. I mean, not necessarily. You can take it to the trade deadline if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But then you got to deal with rumors between now and the trade deadline and all that kind of stuff. If it were me and I was a GM, I would talk to Donovan. And if he said, I want out, I'd say, okay, we're gonna find a way to make a move. But I would also let him know it may not be where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take the best possible offer for you. All right. But I will say this. The Knicks, well, it's funny because the Dallas Mavericks were reportedly mad at the Knicks for showing up at the Utah Jazz Mavericks game. The Utah Jazz were mad at the Knicks for showing up at the Utah Jazz Mavericks game in the playoffs, right? Now the Knicks could be entangled in snatching away two of their best guards. So the Utah Jazz may not want to play ball with the New York Knicks, because they might be mad at them. I don't know where else these offers might come from. I guess the Utah Jazz could possibly make a big offer for Donovan Mitchell. Who knows if they're even interested? When you look at what the Utah Jazz want for Donovan Mitchell, you know what I mean? They want a lot. A reported 8 draft picks, going from now until whenever. I don't know if, they just put that out there because They wanted to let the Knicks know, or whatever team know, if you're going to trade for Donovan Mitchell, you're going to be paying a hefty price. Who knows?
From now until forever.
Bro,
Draft pick every year.
Here's the thing. You can't trade draft picks in, you got to trade
years.
every other year. It has to be, you can't trade them in consecutive years. You got to do it every other year. So with the draft picks that the Knicks have, that they've gotten from other teams, they're protected. Unless the Utah Jazz are willing to take some protected picks for Donovan Mitchell, you're still talking about trading their own 2023 pick, 2025, 2027, right? And that's just 3 picks. Okay? Unprotected. And that's just 3 picks. And then what's next? 2029, that's 4 picks. 2031, that's 5 picks. 2033, that's 6 picks right there. I mean, you're talking 2033. We're going all the way to 2037 now. Obviously,
I don't think it'll be that much, Sam. That's
I mean, they said 8 picks, and I'm assuming they want them to be unprotected.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's 8 picks, but a combination of unprotected and protected.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it's that much.
But here's the thing too: the Knicks would still have draft picks in those other years, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not like they wouldn't have draft picks; they would still have draft picks in those other years. And you can do swap options. I see Thunny Music, however you say it, so you can do swap options and things like that. So yeah, definitely you can do swap options, for Donovan Mitchell. It's it could be crazy. I'm just wondering, are the New York Knicks willing to go that far for Donovan Mitchell? And, I probably exaggerated a little bit talking about picks going all the way to 2037, right? Because the Knicks have like 11 first-round picks over the next 7 years. Okay, so they could afford to, figure out a package so that they still have some first-round picks. But are they willing to give up that much? And then what players are they willing to give up? Because even though you give up those draft picks, you got to match the money. You know what I mean? And I guess my next question, too, is if you and I know, I think I know the answer. You're not looking at getting better like right this minute. You know what I'm saying? You're looking to have the pieces so that you get better later on. And Donovan Mitchell is a star. But, if you include Julius Randle in the trade, are you actually getting better? I'm sure a little bit, but how much better are you getting? You know what I'm saying? And would the Knicks try to say, we want to have Donovan, RJ, and Randle all together?
So Sam, okay. So, and I think this is funny. Owen in the chat says IQ, RJ, Ovi, and 17 first. So that's all hyperbole.
Did he say 17 first round picks? He said what?
17, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think it'll cost that much. We have to remember. So they just got 4 picks for Rudy Gobert plus, a whole bunch of players, right? That the players had to equal Rudy Gobert's contract. Rudy Gobert was making more than what Donovan Mitchell was making. Okay, he was making more than what Donovan Mitchell was making. I think the contract length was just about the same, but I think that's the reason why you've seen that amount of players and that amount of picks. I don't think it will cost the Knicks more than 4 first-round picks to get Donovan Mitchell. That's just my opinion. I don't think that's what it's going to cost them. I know Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Gobert. Gobert is still 2-time, 3-time defensive player of the year, something like that, multiple-time All-Star. So he is a valuable player and is a valuable player in his own right. And I don't think it will cost much more, if even more at all, than what they got for Gobert than what they're going to get for Mitchell. So I think for the Knicks, the 4 first-round picks, I think that's where they can go because they have an abundance of draft picks. I'm not holding on to all these draft picks and all these young guys when we have an abundance already. I'm not holding on to all these draft picks when we have an abundance of picks already, plus the young guys we already have on the team that you got to try to make room for these new guys coming in. So I'm not doing that. So 4 first-round picks for me, that's no problem for the Knicks. Unprotected, that's no problem. The second part is I think getting rid of Randall and adding Mitchell to this team does make the team better, in my opinion, because I think the playing style will be different. Now, Thibodeau will have to adjust. The Knicks coaching staff will have to adjust. But I think having the ball in a guard's hands, someone who's less susceptible to turnovers, someone who can knock down bigger shots than Julius Randle, to me, I think that will help this team much better. And having another ball handler on the floor, a competent ball handler on the floor, will help this team much better than Randle. So to me, I'm going Julius Randle. I'm adding those 4 first-round picks in there, and then a couple of young players. Obviously, you don't want to put RJ in there because you want to have Mitchell with RJ. But you're talking.
You definitely
maybe
can't do RJ and Julius. You
right.
definitely can't do that.
Yeah, right. And people say I hate RJ. I don't hate RJ that much. Come on, guys. But I'm doing Randle. I'm probably adding in Cam Reddish. And then probably one of these other young players. One of the guards.
That already is going to be more than his salary if you're doing Randle and Cam Reddish. I think that's Randle and Cam Reddish just about equal his salary, maybe a little bit more, I think. And I don't know if you guys just heard that, but it's thundering like crazy outside. Got my dogs going crazy because the windows are vibrating and all kinds of stuff. So,
that was God telling me to be quiet. That was God telling me to be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Donovan Mitchell's salary, ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, 2023, he makes $30.3 million. 23-24, he makes $32.6 million. 24-25, he makes $34.8 million. And then in 25-26, he makes $37 million, and that's a team option. Okay? In order for the Knicks to trade for Donovan Mitchell, as far as the salaries are concerned, to match the salaries, you only got to match that $30 million for 22-23. Okay? So Julius Randle is what?
24.
This year? 24 this year? And so if you Julius Randle and Cam Reddish, you're talking $30 million. You've matched that salary already. Julius Randle's 23.7, Cam Reddish is 5.9. You're a little bit under that $30 million, but you can do it. All right, you're actually sending them less salary, and you're taking back more salary.
What if the Jazz add another player in there?
Well, of course, they could add another player in, right? If they added in another player, then of course, you can make the salaries match with another player on your team. You know what I mean? So obviously that could happen. But if you're talking about, just Julius Randle and Cam Reddish, those salaries match. So it would be Julius Randle, Cam Reddish, and then draft picks. It's other than that, Evan Fournier, $18 million. Now, my question is this: when you talk about Julius Randle, do they want to commit to Julius Randle as their primary player till 25-26? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see where you're getting at. I guess it could be Fournier then, because Fournier is the next highest contract.
Right.
And then that will get to your scenario of Randle, Mitchell, and RJ.
Yeah, because Evan Fournier, if you talk about Evan Fournier, his contract expires. It actually expires in 23-24. Then there's a team option, right? So if they wanted to, they could get off of that contract in another year, right? Which would help them free up space. Because I'm not sure they're going to look at Julius Randle. They would look at Julius Randle like I think the Knicks look at him as a third option. I don't think they'd look at him as the star player that's going to take you over the top. And they're not a team. It's not going to be easy for them to just go out and get free agents.
Right. Not
in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't know if they would want to commit to Julius Randle until 25-26. Now, on the other hand, if the Knicks are able to put Donovan Mitchell and Julius Randle together, even along with RJ Barrett, and they're going to ask for RJ Barrett. There's no doubts about it. They're asking for RJ.
Think so.
Listen,
because look, Gobert got traded without the Jazz getting back a star player. I don't think a star player or any type of young player.
Yeah, but Gobert is not Donovan Mitchell.
Gobert makes more than Donovan Mitchell.
He might have made more. He made more money than Donovan Mitchell, but he wasn't the better player. I know he was an all-star. I get that, but he wasn't the better player.
I agree, Sam, but I'm talking about when you go to the negotiating table, they don't necessarily have to ask for RJ. I think that's the common misconception among
I
Knicks
think
fans
they're gonna
because,
ask for RJ.
I mean, if I'm the Jazz, I would ask for RJ,
Yeah.
but I don't think it necessarily has to be RJ Barrett, particularly in a bearish market the way it is right now. Not that many teams are really looking for him. So to me, I think the Knicks have a little bit of leverage in the situation. And again, this is a lot of stuff that we don't know. This is still early. You know, Wolves just put this tweet out a couple hours ago. But I don't necessarily think that it would cost RJ Barrett and that type of deal, you know, to get Donovan Mitchell.
And, you know, like Rudy Gobert is 30 already. Not that that's crazy old, but he's 30 years old. Donovan Mitchell is what, 25?
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a guy that hasn't even reached his prime. You know, that I think that they'll probably be looking towards RJ, man. I really do. I think they'd be looking to get RJ Barrett in return.
Sam, salute to Quiet Money. He says, you guys got to be kidding me. It's RJ Fournier, Reddish, and some picks. Don't be afraid to get rid of RJ. He's mediocre at best. You're preaching to the choir.
I don't think anyone is saying, you know, that you're scared to get rid of him. We're just speculating on
what it's going to cost.
What it might cost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're just speculating on that, what it might cost for Donovan Mitchell. And I think they would ask for RJ Barrett. You know, and like I was saying, on the other hand, if the Knicks were able to, you know, find a way to make it Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Donovan Mitchell's and Julius Randle's, their contracts match up.
Right. 4 years left.
Right. Their contracts match up. They expire in the same years. You know, and then you could structure RJ Barrett's so that it also expired. His extension, you could structure it so that it also expired in the same year. Right. So now you say, hey, we got this amount of time to make it work with these three guys. And if it doesn't work, figure out something else.
It wouldn't be a max contract, though. That's the only thing.
For
I
RJ?
think the rookie max has to be 5 years at least. 5 years.
I mean,
and it wouldn't be 5 years. It'd just be 4.
But you can structure the amount per year, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, 5 years, but you can structure the amount per year. And you wouldn't have to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? You could say, hey, you know, we'll go ahead and, you know, he would, I guess if you gave him the full 5 years, it would expire after Randle and Mitchell's expired. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's interesting to see what could happen. You know what I mean? Let me get to a couple of people that left some comments and, you know, see what they're saying. Khalid Pasha, hopefully I said your name correctly. You said Donovan Mitchell gets us a superstar next summer. Do you believe that, Josh, that Donovan Mitchell gets the Knicks a superstar?
I think it gets us closer than where we are right now. I don't know if it's guaranteed to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen next summer. But I think we're definitely closer. If we get someone like Donovan Mitchell in here, you got a young guy who's going to be a star in the NBA, if not already a star in the NBA, on this Knicks roster with a bunch of other young players. Even if we give up to one or two young players, we're still going to have an abundance of young players with talent. I think we're way closer with him than without him.
Right. Okay.
To a star, another.
Irvis Sula, thank you for the super chat. He said Fournier Rose salary match, which it would be $18 million Fournier, $14 million Rose. Right. That's $32 million right there. Grimes and Reddish, young players. I mean, now you're going way above the salary, right? Now you're talking about giving up, you know, maybe $44, you know, about $40 million or something like that or more. 5 first-round picks, 2 protected, in 3 seconds. That's fair, and it helps both teams build. Whew. I mean, you're talking about 5 first-round picks, 3 second, that's 8 picks, and you're giving up Grimes and Reddish. I mean, Fournier and Rose, okay. I don't know if Utah is going to take that. It does help them clear some salary. I don't know if Utah would do that, but I guess that's something that I would do. I would do that. If they said this is what it takes, or they were willing to accept that, I would do that, right? You're giving up 2 young guys in Grimes and Reddish, but you're getting back another young player You're giving up two of your older guys in Fournier and Rose, so now your entire team is super duper young. Grimes, is probably a rotation player, so now you got to fill that spot with another rotation player. But that's something that I would do. And you send out more salary than you get back, so then you would free up some salary. I don't think that Utah would want to take back more salary, although they would be freeing up some salary the next year with Fournier and Rose. So that's interesting.
I don't think I don't think for salary purposes that it will work out because of Grimes and Reddish. They're still getting guaranteed money as first round picks. I don't think Utah has the money to accept it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me back up a little bit. They would have to send us two more players.
Right. In order for that to work.
In order for it to work. They would have to send us some players too in order for that to work. Frank Corona Jr., thank you for the super chat. He said, what team can give up the farm for Donovan Mitchell? Utah, they don't want Hero on a huge contract and 3 to 4 picks in the very late 20s. Utah would be entering tank mode. I understand what you're saying. And the Knicks, that's the thing about the Knicks. That's why the guy said that the Knicks could actually afford to do it, because the Knicks could, if you want to say give up the farm, they could give up a lot and still have a lot left. You know what I'm saying? They're one of the teams that could actually do that. And I'm talking about Tony Jones from The Athletic, right? Where he said, expect the New York Knicks to quickly try and put together a package for Donovan Mitchell, according to league sources. Utah's bar for trading Mitchell is sky high, but the Knicks are a team that has the assets to make this a conversation. And I agree. They do have the assets to make it a conversation. I'm gonna get some guys in here. I just want you guys to come out. I want to make sure that you got your, that your video is good, that your sound is good and all that stuff. But I'm gonna bring you in a minute. Josh, I want to ask you, what about the pairing of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Bronson in the backcourt, two small guards, 6'1"? I would definitely be concerned about that, because you're going really, really small. And I know, Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell were both small, and they had some regular season success out in Utah. But, man, they're small. They'd be small.
I'll tell you this much. I think you're coming at it from a defensive perspective, obviously, because of the height and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that pairing will be better than Evan Fournier and whoever else as the point guard that we had last year. Defensively, if you want to talk about that, right? The Knicks have
we're not talking about last year. Right now, we got Jalen Bronson and Evan Fournier.
No, but I'm saying, again, this is what I'm saying. If people are so concerned about the two guard spots and the lack of defense there, I'm saying it can't be any worse than what we had last season. And now you're bringing an offensive upgrade, right? Okay. And I just think that, again, I understand defense is important. I'm not taking away from defense. I think the Knicks will be defensively fine. We're going to have some limitations. It's not going to be perfect, right? We don't have, the 66 Celtics out there or anything like that. But I think this team will still be better off altogether overall than what they were last season if you have a Mitchell and you have a Bronson backcourt. Defense probably going to take a little bit of a hit, no doubt. But offensively, I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
Could be. Demo B, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. He said, Ainge is not taking less than a combination of RJ, Obi, Quick, or Grimes with picks and Fournier or Rose for salaries.
They can't. They're in the luxury tax. They're literally spending in the luxury tax right now. They can't take that many players. That's what I'm trying to let Knicks fans know. It may not be as bad and gutting the roster as you make it seem. You have to look at Utah's salary cap. They can't afford to take on that many players and that much money.
I mean, they can waive some players. They can send players to the Knicks, and then the Knicks waive those players. So it could work that. It could work that way, right? Josh Kyle, he said, "What are your realistic trades for him? No RJ or Toppin." I mean, if you're not talking about RJ, I think they're gonna ask for RJ. I think they're gonna ask. We'll see where the Knicks move with that. Realistically, they're definitely going to want young players back. I think they're going to want short contracts. That's why I'm not so sure they would take back Julius Randle, because I think they're going to want shorter contracts. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to be rebuilding, starting over. So they probably want short contracts so that they can start to rebuild. I don't think they're going to want to take back. Why would you take back that long of a contract? You're giving away that long of a contract unless you're getting back another, super duper star. Why are you going to take back that much of a contract? I just don't think that they would take back that much of a contract.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? If it was me, I wouldn't take back that much of a contract. Let me get you a phone call here. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Caller, you there?
Wayne.
Wayne,
I'm here.
What's going on with you, Wayne? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. Let me ask you. Now I know we learned from. I don't know if we didn't learn anything from the Melo trade. I mean, what do you guys bar as far as trading for Spider-Man? Would you give up the farm for him, knowing what we did with the Melo trade?
Oh my goodness!
See, with the Melo trade, and we knew. Me and Josh was just talking about this. We knew the Melo trade was going to come up. I think this is totally different than the Melo trade, and the reason why I think it's different is because the Knicks have way more assets now. Like the Knicks have prepared themselves. The front office they prepared themselves to be able to make a big trade when it presents itself. I'm not saying it has to be Donovan Mitchell, but they've prepared themselves to be able to do it and still have something left. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're talking about 11 first-round draft picks over the next 7 years, 11 second-round draft picks over the next 7 years. Right? We got now with Jalen Bronson in tow, 9 players, 25 or younger. Right?
All of them better than Wilson Chandler.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if all of them are better than Wilson Chandler. I don't know about all of them better than Wilson Chandler.
Most of them.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not ready to say Miles McBride is going to be better than Wilson Chandler. Right.
Okay. And actually, one more thing, and I'm up out of here. Do you guys think RJ deserved a bag or no? Or do you guys think he's reached his ceiling?
No, I don't think he's reached his ceiling at all. I don't think he's reached his ceiling. Do I want to give him the max right now? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm looking at what some of these other guys got. Zion and John Morant. John Morant obviously deserves what he got. Zion, he's only played, what, 30-something% of the games that he's been available for. You know what I mean? So I don't know about that. But I think what the Knicks have until October, right? But I think they might wait a little bit so that they can think about it, talk to his team, figure some things out. Obviously, if this thing is really on the table with Donovan Mitchell, I don't think they're making a move on that until they figure out what happens with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you.
All right.
And I'll say this. If the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell and RJ is still here, RJ Barrett's getting extended right away, I think. Let's say this happens in 2 weeks. I think RJ Barrett gets extended. Because now that tells Donovan Mitchell, yep, this guy's going to be here with you. Like, we're putting a team around you. We're not playing around with this. They trade for Donovan Mitchell. That RJ Barrett extension comes real quick, I think. You know what I'm saying? I think it comes real quick.
Sim, Pete Panaka, I can't say his name. I'm going to call him Pete.
Double P. Call him Double P.
Double P. He said that in the chat that Donovan Mitchell ain't all that. Have we seen Utah the past couple of years? Okay, RJ is. RJ's better than Donovan Mitchell.
The Utah Jazz have been better than the New York Knicks the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that they didn't win a championship. I'm not basing everything on whether or not that player won a championship. You can't. There's a lot of players. Kevin Garnett went mad years without winning a championship. There was times that he was questioned about this, that, and the third. It happens like that with a lot of players in this league. They get questioned about this and that because they haven't won a championship, and then they get to a team and with some players and they win a championship, and all those questions go away. You know what I mean? And players go through, and trust me, I said this even before, I guess not, even before this, right? A couple of weeks ago, months ago or something like that. People ask, well, are you concerned about Donovan Mitchell and his playoff performance? And I'm going to say exactly what I said then. No. Because players go through learning processes. There are different levels of learning when you play basketball. And the playoffs is another level of learning. Maybe he didn't get his team to the championship or wherever, but you learn. Sometimes you're going to have a good playoff series. Sometimes you're going to have a bad playoff series. You're putting it all in your bag and you're figuring out how to get it done. And that's what I wrap that up to when I look at Donovan Mitchell and his playoff performance, because not last season this season that just passed, but the season before that, he had a crazy playoff performance. And if you would have asked Knicks fans, and if he was up for trade then, everybody would have been clamoring and going crazy to get him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a crazy playoff performance. So, I'm not worried about that. I think that he's going to come back. I think that he's a hardworking kid. Watched a couple of documentaries on him, last year. I don't know when they were. I think that he's going to come back and perform well. He's a talent, no doubt about it. And the Knicks need a talent like him. I am concerned about having 2 6'1" guards in the backcourt, but guess what? It's a concern that I would deal with. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a concern that I will definitely deal with to bring Donovan Mitchell in. I do want to look at, because when we talk about salaries like R.J. Barrett, like I just said, I think that R.J. Barrett would get extended if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, you would have Donovan Mitchell's contract. If Julius Randle's still on the team, you would have Julius Randle's contract. But when you look at the way that the Knicks structured the contracts of Jalen Bronson and Mitchell Robinson, right? They structured those contracts to prepare to be able to make a move, right? They structured the contracts, I think, purposely that way, so that they would have money down the line when it's time to extend certain players, or so that they can afford to have R.J. Barrett, right? Mitchell Robinson's 4-year contract is $60 million. It is descending. This is according to Fred Katz. It's descending. In 22-23, $17 million. 23-24, $15.7 million. 23-24 is that's when R.J. Barrett's contract would kick in. 24-25, $14.3 million, and then 25-26, $13 million. Okay, so it's a descending contract. The same thing for Jalen Brunson. 4-year, $104 million. In year 1, $27.7. In year 2, $26.3. In year 3, $24.9. And then in year 4, it's $24.9. So Brunson also has a 10% trade kicker. Okay, and no, you cannot deal Jalen Brunson for Donovan Mitchell because he was just signed. You wouldn't be able to deal him until December. All right. So, I think that they structured their contracts, their free agent contracts, so that they're able to make deals going later on, 1-2 years from now, right? So that these deals are descending, which is going to make it easier for them to make some moves later on. You know what I mean? Any thoughts about that, Josh, before I get these guys?
Well, no. I mean, I think you hit everything right on the head. I just wanted to say that the Jazz, because they're a tax-paying team, they're above the luxury tax. They're only allowed to take 125% of that salary that they're sending out. So if they're sending out $30 million of Donovan Mitchell's contract, they're only allowed to bring back in 38. That's so they can take on $8 million or more salary. So it is possible for them to add in, or for the Knicks to add in another young player. Let's say they make the salaries match, and then you want to add in another young player to sweeten up the deal. That is possible for the Jazz to take because they're a tax-paying team. But I just want to say this. I think Knicks fans think that, every trade is the Melo trade and everything like that. But the Melo trade worked out for us in the simple fact that we were relevant again. We had a guy that we can give the ball to. It's just that the moves that happened after that trade, trading for Andrea Bargnani, trading away Shumpert and all of these guys, Novak and all these guys broke up that team, and Bargnani was a complete bust. right? So I just think everyone comparing all of these deals to the Carmelo Anthony trade, I just don't think it's fair. I think the Carmelo Anthony trade was a good thing for our organization. Wilson Chandler and Danilo Gallinari and all these role-playing guys, and we got back a star player. I think that's what Donovan Mitchell is. You pair him with R.J. Barrett, you pair him with Bronson, another guard who's a secondary ball handler. I think that's a really good thing for us offensively, obviously. Defensively, I'm willing to take the lumps that way, but definitely become a better offensive team. But you still got Mitchell Robinson in the middle, right? A man in the middle that can be able to block shots. Yeah. So I'm not really concerned about it that much.
All right, let me get to this caller, then I'm going to get these guys in. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, it's Isaiah from Connecticut.
Oh, is this that dude that I was at the draft party with and, I put him on skates on the basketball court?
Can't be because I was there and I beat the old guy.
Okay, cool. Different guy. What's going on?
Yeah. What's up, man? Look, Sam, we talked a little bit, me and you talked a little bit earlier. I've been thinking about it, right? I'm not pulling the trigger for Donovan Mitchell, man. Not for him. Not for him.
Tell me why.
Because here's my big thing, right? So we have there's pretty much two options, right? It's either trade Randle or trade RJ. Now, if we trade Randle, I'll be a little bit decent with it, but it will be tough for me because, look, we would have 2 6'1" guys. We would have 2 6'1" guys.
Okay.
And the big difference between what Donovan doing with Mike Conley is a defender, man. And I'm not saying Brunson can't defend. I'm not saying that. He's a decent defender, but he's not on Mike Conley's level of defense. So that's why that was able to work a little bit more, because at least with Mike Conley, he can get up under guys. He can get under the 2s. And if you really, really want to, he can get under 3s if you really wanted to and focus like that.
But you know what?
I'm just saying if you had a switch, I'm just saying, son.
I know, but I don't think the last 2 years, I don't think Mike Conley's been the same defender. He's still a good defender. I don't think
of course not. Because he's older. But so here's my big thing too, right, son? Let's say we did this trade, right? Let's say we traded Julius, right? Mm-hmm. And we kept RJ, Brunson, and Mitch. Brunson and Mitchell. I'm not sure that can beat the Celtics. I'm not sure that can beat the Bucks.
It doesn't have to right now. You're still going to be building your team, though. This is not.
We're going to have to face them eventually.
I know, but you're going to build eventually. You're still going to build. This is not an end-all, be-all.
But how are you gonna? But Sim, hold on. But how are you? And let's make something very clear. We gotta make something very clear. We're talking about Danny Ainge, by the way, Sim. Danny Ainge. This guy's probably the worst person to trade with. The worst person to trade with because he's going to try to take everything you got. But
he's going to try. It doesn't. Hold on. He's going to try. It doesn't mean that the Knicks are going to fold under it. But my man Mark is in the building. Mark, what's going on with you, man? Talk to me about it, bro. Talk to me about it. Tell me about your feelings, bro.
Another day being blue and orange, man. And I'm in between a love and a hate relationship right now with Donovan Mitchell and wanting to see this team go out the way we're constructed right now. So I'm just liking the young guys and what I'm watching in the summer league and how slightly guys improving their game, and I just like the depth. Like, I just believe when you have more depth on this team, there's a lot more you could do with this team. And just thinking of going for Donovan Mitchell and what Danny Ainge tends to do and what he got for Rudy Gobert, I don't think I want to give up so much. And as good as Donovan Mitchell is, and I'm not knocking on his game, I just rather go in gun ho with this team personally. I just want to see 1 year of this team personally. That's just me. I don't know why, but I want to.
Listen, I said it last night when I did when I was doing the game preview or the post game show at 2:00 in the morning. I actually am intrigued about this team and I like this team. And I'm not saying, when I say I like the team, I'm not saying I like them as far as them being able to win championships and things like that. I like the way that they're constructed. You know what I'm saying? So I do like the construction of the team. I like the pieces that we have. I like the way that I think they can fit together, right? But it doesn't mean that I won't make a move for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, because I think you got to get talent. You got to get players in. You make a move for Donovan Mitchell, and then you figure out, how do I structure this team now? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the way you got to go about it. You need a guy like Donovan Mitchell.
So Sim, if the move have to be made, I'm cool with it, 100%. But how I'm thinking, I know it's going to start with 4 unprotected first round picks off the bat.
Okay, so look, so check this out. Okay, so check this out. 2023. So let's say you give up 2023. What about the Dallas Mavericks pick? I know it's protected, but
they're going to want.
But that's a pick. But that's a pick that you can pretty much say you're going to get.
But they're going to make deals like that, Sim. Those teams are going to want unprotected.
I get it. So, but if you're giving up 4 of them, then you're talking about 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029, and you still got picks.
Yeah.
You still got picks.
I understand that, right?
And you might even be able to give up that 2025 that you got from the, that Milwaukee Bucks, because that's unprotected. You might be able to give up that one and keep your own. Or if not, then you still got that Milwaukee Bucks 2025.
Okay, so now when it comes to dishing out the players in that deal, RJ's going to have to go, because that's what Danny Ainge is going to ask for. It's going to happen. Danny Ainge ain't no. You cannot out-clown him. You cannot outwork him. He works people.
What good young player did he get for Rudy Gobert?
He got unprotected picks, though.
We got that, but you moved on to players. So tell me, what good young player did Danny Ainge get that they can build a franchise?
But what I'm telling you is that Donovan Mitchell is more of a premium than Gobert. He still got way too much for Gobert. That was too much for Gobert. What Danny Ainge got for Gobert was outrageous. Those picks.
The picks were outrageous, or the players?
No one was giving it up for Rudy Gobert. No one was giving it.
The picks or the players is what I'm asking, Mark. Which one?
The picks. But the thing is, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell is 2 different players. Donovan Mitchell is a premium player. So the premium the player is going to require more. What Danny Ainge did is that he leveraged Gobert. He got what he thought he wasn't going to get from other teams. He fleeced the Wolves. That's the Wolves' problem. That's the Wolves' problem for doing that. But he fleeced them. He got 4 unprotected picks from the Wolves, bro. That's nuts for Gobert. That's nuts.
I mean, listen.
That's a guy.
Listen. I agree, right? I think that they gave up a lot for Gobert, but I also look and say to myself, where did because they didn't give up Karl Anthony Towns?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right? They didn't give up Anthony Edwards.
No.
Right? Like, they kept their young core.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is a good young core. Mm-hmm. And they feel like by adding Rudy Gobert,
that could be a playoff team.
They boom.
Yeah.
They feel like they put themselves into a top 4 team, I believe. I'm not saying that.
No.
Whoa. I'm not saying. See, you got to listen to what I said. I didn't say I believe. I said they believe.
Okay.
That they put themselves into a top 4 team. Right? That's what they believe.
They did get better, though.
You know what I'm saying? And if a team, they may be looking at it and saying, we're going to give up 4 first-round picks to make ourselves a top 4 team because we believe that's what we are now, right? Because they already played good defense. They believe Rudy Gobert is going to solidify their defense. I guess they, feel like they're putting Karl Anthony Towns in a better position. If a team, they feel like they may not feel like they got fleeced. They may feel like they put themselves in a position to contend for a title in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's okay. They feel like they didn't get fleeced, but still, it's just like that wasn't Gobert's market at all. Like, period. Like, when that wasn't his market, so it's different. It's different
it must have been. It must have been. If they got it, it must have been his market.
Because Danny Ainge works his magic like he normally does. He don't miss. So he did what he needed to do. So it's kudos to him. Yeah. All I'm saying, Sim, is that if we have to give up players, cool. But all I'm saying, as long as they get to keep Obi. Everyone,
Okay.
you can get
Okay.
as long as they
But
keep
check
Obi.
this. But check
for
this.
me-
I mean, but see me, I'm willing to give up 5 draft picks because the Knicks got it.
Okay, I'm giving up 4 unprotected Knicks picks.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm willing
They
to
can
do
have
that. I'm willing to
They
do
can
that.
have that.
I'm
They
willing
can
to do
have
that. I'm willing to give
that
up
is
4
still-
unprotected picks.
still premium because we could still, we'll be fighting for a playoff spot and stuff like that. But teams, Utah would think that they'll still have a chance to be in the lottery with those picks. So I will give up those 4 unprotected. RJ would be in that deal. You got to throw some fillers in there. I think I don't think Randall's gonna be in that deal. I think a Fournier, Cam Reddish might be in that deal.
I don't think Randall is either because I don't think they want to contract that long.
No, so it's gonna be out of Fournier, Reddish. Could be no, you can't trade Mitch because he just signed. So it's gonna be Fournier, Reddish, and RJ, and them 4 unprotected Knicks picks.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why else I'm not afraid to give up 4 unprotected picks, because I believe that this front office can get some of those, not those particular picks, but can get some other picks back.
Yeah, they willing to deal it. I ain't gonna hold you because
we've seen it already.
I stepped back and I put my Excalibur down. I like how they constructing the contracts.
Right.
Because when you're thinking of a newly signed contract, numbers is going up. They paying them that one good year, like here, take the lollipop and come in my car. So they give them.
Yo, Mark, what's up with all these? I mean, I put the Excalibur down here. Take the lollipop and come out. What's going on, man?
It's just analogies. I'm not analogy.
But why those analogies? Like, what's up?
They enticing the pot. So here, you're gonna play for this amount of money this year, and as you play on, your deals gonna go down. So I'm okay with the Bronson deal now. I put my Excalibur down. With Mitch, I put it down because you could trade him if he's not good. Because the way Sims is balling,
Mark, let me jump in here for a second. So this is the thing I think a lot of Knicks fans don't truly understand. When you trade for a star player or a superstar player, whatever you trade for, that's not the end all be all. It doesn't say that you're done building and that you're going to be stuck with this team forever and you're going to be stuck in misery and purgatory. That's not what we're talking about here. Yeah. The Knicks, if they trade 4 first-round picks, right, they still have an abundance of other picks left, right? You're betting on the fact that the Knicks will be a better team. So even your unprotected picks won't be that high. So you're just bringing in more role players projected in the draft. Mm-hmm. And think about all the young players we have already on the team. So where are these draft picks? Where are these draft picks that you're talking about drafting? Where are these guys going to play? Right? You know what I'm saying? So
I understand what you're saying. That's why I said I will give up I will give up the 4 unprotected. I'm okay with getting Donovan Mitchell. It's just what else is going to go in that deal? Me, it's more about what Danny Ainge is going to try to will with his.
I think this Knicks front office is not going to get, like, everyone's throwing out this fleeced word and Danny Ainge and all that. Everyone is just so afraid of what could happen. But I'm not looking at things and more. Hold on, Mark. Yeah. I think people are not looking at all this stuff and nuance, right?
Yeah.
People are, the Knicks PTSD is starting to kick in. Oh, the Knicks are going to get fleeced. And I don't think it's going to be like that. Okay, if you think 4 first-round picks are fleeced for a star player, that's on you. That's your opinion. That's your prerogative. But to me, that's not a fleece. And I know I said Randall earlier, but it would make sense to get rid of Fournier because then naturally you'll put Mitchell and Fournier. You'll put Mitchell in Fournier's position to shorter contract. I hear what Sim is saying. And then you add 2 young players to that. And that's not including RJ, right? But I think getting rid of those 2 young players, you still have a complete team. You have a star player that you can give the ball to when the game is on the line. You still have him. You pair him up with Randall and RJ. To me, that's a good team for the Knicks to have for the next couple of years. No. And then you can continue to build after that. To me, and I think that's a really good team for the Knicks to have in the next couple of years.
So, Sim, could we bring back Bogdanovich with the Donovan Mitchell? Because if I'm doing a trade like that, I'm bringing him back.
And see, that's the thing about this front office. I trust that they'll make a deal. If they were to make the deal, first of all, I don't think that they're going to make a deal that's just like, oh my God, what are the Knicks going to be able to do? I don't believe that they're going to do that. And if they make a deal, I believe that they will make a smart deal that allows the Knicks to be competitive, to continue to add players, and possibly bring back a guy like Bogdanovich or something like that. I think that they would do that because they would look and say, hey, you know what? You guys are breaking down So let's talk about some of the players that you do have, where we can construct a good team over here. And I think they would be successful in doing so.
So how much is Donovan Mitchell getting paid as of today?
$30 million.
Yeah. Let's look at it again. We'll take a look at it one more time because, he's getting paid. His contract goes until 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
Right. And, it's unlike Jalen, Bronson, and Mitchell Robinson, it's an ascending contract. But he makes $30.3 million this season coming up, 22-23. He makes 20 in 23-24, he makes 32.6. In 24-25, he makes 34.8. And then 25-26, which is a team option, he makes $37 million.
He's on the fund max, so he's getting paid exactly what he's worth right now. But I would bring back Bogdanovich back in that deal because that would make us a playoff team for real, because that's a 16, 18 point scorer. A guy that can get it on his own also. So that would bolster up our team. So how much money can Utah bring back in with that deal? So
Bogdanovich, now here's the thing about Bogdanovich, why they may not want to trade him. His contract ends in 22-23. That would be great for the Knicks.
That's why I asked for him.
That would be great for the Knicks. He makes 19 million. Bogdanovich does. Right? But would they want to trade Bogdanovich? It's not like he's making money until 2024-25. His contract expires after this season. Who knows if they would want to trade him? But hey, you're going to have the ability to wheel and deal and negotiate with the Utah Jazz to try to bring back some players that are going to
check this
help
out.
Your squad.
Not even that, Sim. If I'm going to bring back those two players, I'm throwing quickly in that deal to bring back Bogdanovich. I'm doing that.
Your boy Donovan might not want that. He might be like, hold up. He might tell his team, like, hold up. Tell him not to put quickly in that deal. That's my boy.
Yo, check this out. If you ain't LeBron James, if you ain't Stephen Curry,
I'm just
listen. I understand he's a good player.
I'm just saying.
I'm over these players trying to run an organization. Let the Knicks do what they're doing. They've been doing okay.
I get it.
I don't want to hear none of this. We're trying to bring you in, and I'm trying to bring in a quality player.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just
quickly ain't.
But this is the thing. But Mark, guess what? That's not the way that it always works, though.
You don't run nothing. You getting traded.
I'm just saying
you don't run nothing.
That's not the way that it always works, though. Sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Well, if that was the case, if I'm the GM, I'm throwing quickly in that deal because we have Derrick Rose, and I don't think Derrick Rose is going anywhere. So
But Mark, listen, I think what the misconception here again is that people are thinking it's going to be Ainge versus Leon Rose. A team goes into a trade not trying to big up the other person that you're doing a trade with. Yeah. Both sides are going to come into the deal with expectations of what they want. Right. And then that's how you negotiate it. But it's not like this competition between like if the Utah Jazz trade with the or the Utah Jazz traded with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves GM was going up against the Utah Jazz GM. That's not the way this works. Every team goes into a trade with what they want back in a particular type of scenario. And the best team that has the best package that can accommodate whatever the other team is looking for will ultimately win out. And that's how trades happen. This is not like a competition thing and a trade aspect. So being afraid of Danny Ainge and what Danny Ainge can do, he's done really good stuff in the past. No question about that.
You know what?
But the Knicks are doing good things too.
I'm sure Leon Rose and Danny Ainge have had plenty of dealings together. Right. And they know how each other work. Let me get to a caller real quick. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Sam, what's good? It's Dan from North Carolina.
What's going on, Dan? How you feeling, man?
Doing good. What's going on, Josh? What's up, Mark?
Salute.
What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. The first thing I want to say is everybody's complaining about the 4 unprotected picks, but if we give them the Knicks picks and we're in the playoffs, those picks aren't going to be that great anyway.
Exactly.
True.
So, and you think about what Minnesota gave for Rudy Gobert. I think that was more because they knew that they weren't going to get a player like that in free agency to go to Minnesota. So it was, they had to overpay in order to get him in there. So I think that it might be similar to what they got because Donovan is a better player, but I don't think it'll be that much more, if anything, than that.
So, let me ask you a question, caller.
And-
Who was
Yeah.
Utah competing with getting rid of Gobert? I could understand if they was competing with somebody and they had to overpay, but they wasn't competing with no one.
Well, how do you know that?
But see, but the thing is Minnesota. They didn't have to be competing with anybody for Gobert. They're competing against free agency and nobody wanting to go there.
Right.
So that's the way I see it. They know, you know what, we're not going to have a chance to sign somebody to come to Minnesota, because when was the last time you saw a big free agent go to Minnesota?
All right.
But I think that's the reason that they had to overpay. But my question to you is, what about a 3-team deal with Miami, since they want Cam Reddish anyway, where we send Reddish and Fournier and Duncan Robinson goes to Utah, and with whatever else we send them, and then we get Bogdanovich and Mitchell.
Well, if you're talking about Miami Heat, don't you think they're going to try to be in the running for Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're also supposedly interested in Cam Reddish. So if they want Cam Reddish, we could send Reddish and Fournier. They could send Duncan Robinson, who they want to get off his contract. He's a young player. Utah wants young players, so he goes there. We send Deuce. We send whoever else we're going to send plus the picks to Utah and make it happen. And maybe somehow in the mix, maybe Miami even comes up with Conley because they needed a point guard.
Right. See, my thing is with Duncan Robinson, you know, as far as Utah, and I know he's a young player. I'll repeat, I don't think that they want to take back long contracts. His contract goes to 25, 26. There's a player option in 2025, 26, and it's not that much. It's 19. You know, it tops out. It tops out at 19.8 million. But I still think that they would rather stick with short contracts. If they're getting off of Donovan Mitchell, I think that they would rather stick with short contracts, you know, so that they're not bogged down with any long-term players on the team. Because right now, Donovan Mitchell, his contract goes until 25, 26. They do have a couple of other players, but they're all team options, right? So they have some young players, Walker Kessler, right? You know, his contract ends in 23, 24. Then there's a team option for 24, 25. Then a team option for 25, 26. Leandro Balmaro, you know, the same thing, right? His contract actually ends in 22, 23. And then there's a team option for 23, 24. Then a team option for 24, 25, et cetera, et cetera. The next longest contract on the Utah Jazz right now is Mike Conley. And that contract ends in 24, 25, right? He's the biggest and next longest. Jared Vanderbilt, his contract ends in 24, 25, and Walker Kessler. But after 24, after 23, 24, not 24, 25. After 23, 24, they have a clean cap. So I don't think they want to take back people past 23, 24, to be honest with you.
And it's not even that. It's like Miami's not going to be, if they're going to compete for Donovan Mitchell. So why would they?
I mean, I understand that, but I understand that they're going to compete for Donovan Mitchell. But if it came down to that Utah chose the Knicks, but Miami felt like they could get something out of it, then they would do a 3-team deal. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, I just don't think Utah's taking back any long contracts unless they're getting a guy like R.J. Barrett that they feel is a young up and coming guy.
But even then, even if they took, you know, RJ and say Randall, or RJ and Duncan Robinson, you don't think that, like, if they took Randall, they try to boost his value and then flip him?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, sense, yeah. Because if you can't boost his value per se and then flip him, then, you know, you're on the hook for it. I think they say, you know what, we're going to break down. We're not taking anything past 2023, 24. We got all these draft picks to play with, and we're going to start over from there. I think that's the way that they go about doing it.
I'm also hearing Colin Sexton to Utah too. So if they're going to move Donovan Mitchell, they're going to move Mike Conley. Like, I think moving Mike Conley will be easy, and moving Bogdanovich is going to be easy. They're on 1-year deals. So I think once Donovan Mitchell's off the board, the rest is gone. Yeah. So they're gonna have salary, leisure.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. My man, I appreciate your call. Great conversation, great insight.
Thank you for taking the call.
Appreciate you.
You guys be safe.
Oh, sorry about that. My man accidentally
I
hung
just
up
think
on.
Pat Riley is ganging up right now. I don't think he's gonna try to help us.
Listen. You know, Pat Riley's going to be doing everything that he can to try to make something happen. It might be that he does not have enough.
But they could do a 3-way trade with Brooklyn, Utah, and Miami. That's a possibility.
I mean, listen, there's a lot that can go on, and there could be some 3-way trades. Dope Soul Sports Talk is on, ladies and gentlemen, and when we're done here, I want you guys to go over there to Dope Soul Sports Talk. They're going to be following up on some Donovan Mitchell conversations. All right, so make sure you go over there. We still got a few minutes here, though. Don't leave yet. Call it, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from. Hopefully that's not you getting arrested, but talk to me. Caller, you there?
Yeah, hello? You hear me?
Yeah, what's going on with you, bro? Talk to me.
What's up? This is Bubba Sugar from Florida.
Bubba, what's going on, man?
Big fan. I'm praying that we get Mitchell. We need Mitchell, but I got a feeling that Pat the Rat's gonna come in. He's gonna mess up all my hopes and dreams, man.
Listen,
I'm telling you.
Listen. I mean, listen. You know, he's going for it. He's trying. There's no doubts about that. You know what I mean? But what I'm gonna say is, from what we've seen so far with this front office, they're savvy. They're pretty savvy, and they know what they're doing.
I don't know.
They know. They know what they're doing.
Pat,
I'm gonna say I think they know. At the very least, they know what they're doing when it comes to negotiating. I'll say that.
I don't know. I think Pat's gonna send another fax with a big offer, man. He's gonna use that fax machine he used in '97. I got a feeling he's gonna use the same fax machine he used back then when he sent that fax to the Knicks, and he's gonna make the Jazz an offer they can't refuse. But check this out. I got an offer that let's see if you're the Jazz and you accept it.
Okay.
We have to give him quickly. We can't say it quickly because of Bronson. I doubt the Jazz are gonna want Rose again because they traded for Rose the last time, and then they bought him out when he went to the Cavs. So I doubt they're gonna take Rose. It's gonna have to take quickly. You're gonna have to take either Toppin and salary fillers. And I would give of the 8 draft picks that we have, I would give 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, all those draft picks that we did get are protected, lottery protected. But I doubt it's going to be enough for the Jazz. I'm going to tell you the truth. I doubt it's going to be. I'm telling you, I got a weird feeling in my bones right now. Pat the Rat is going to use that fax machine. I'm telling you.
I mean, my thing is, though, where can he go and get the draft picks? Does he have the draft picks that they want? You know what I mean? Now, do they have some players? Maybe they have some players that Utah might be interested in. I don't know if they have the draft picks to get it done. I mean, and I know Pat Riley and those guys, they know how to wheel and deal. So, I wouldn't put anything past them.
Yeah, man. But I really appreciate you guys, man. You guys are real talk with it. When I need my Nick information, I go to you guys. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. You. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
So, Sim, I was just thinking, like, say if the Donovan Mitchell, right? I'm thinking now because KD's on the board, so that makes it so much interesting.
Uh-huh.
With the 3-way trade and with Utah giving up, with Utah getting those Gobert picks, they can also use that. So what I'm thinking is, it could be a Donovan Mitchell KD to the Heat, while Bam goes out. Bam could go out, and Utah will get Hero, Duncan, Miami picks, and whatever Brooklyn got, they can give out too. They can give out.
Who's Miami getting? Who's Miami getting in that scenario?
KD and Donovan. They could get and ship out Bam. there's a three-way trade that can happen with this KD situation out there, and with Donovan Mitchell out there like that. It can end up like that. It could be Bam and Hero going to Utah.
And what would it be funny about that whole thing, Mark, is if that happens, all the Knicks fans saying, "Oh, I don't want the Knicks to trade nobody. I want the Knicks to play just the way they are right now. It's so good. We'll be good the next couple of years." They'll be mad.
If we're going to make the move, I'm okay with making the move. Make the move. I'm cool with it. I'm not saying no. Make the move. But that is way more interesting for Utah because they get an all-star and another 20-point scorer and 3 first-round picks. So they got back what they needed for Donovan. They had an all-star back. So as Knicks fans, we have to think about what Pat Riley could do with Brooklyn, and they come together. So it's going to be a fight.
We'll see. It is. It's going to be a fight. Gene Mark said, "What would the Nets get?" I guess the Nets would be getting Bam, right?
And Ben Simmons could go out too. So
Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm going to take a couple more phone calls here, and then I'm going to let you guys get over to Dope Soul Sports Talk and finish the conversation over there. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from. I guess we missed out on that call right there. Let me see if I can get to another one here. No. So, Mark, just real quick, tell me how you feel about the backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Bronson.
Well, there's going to be some defensive deficiencies because Donovan Mitchell kind of slacked off the last 2 years on defense. He's been more on the offensive end, but
you don't think he says, I need to step it up. I need to step up and step in right now.
Nah, because playing on the tips, you're going to have to, but It's just when you're going against guys, they're going to put you in matchup, and it's just you're 6'1", so whoever gets the matchup is going to score over you. That's the problem with small guards like that. And he's not resistant enough to make the offensive player think twice about what they want to do with themselves. So it will cause a problem. But bringing him here, you just have to. So it's just like you're going to deal with the offense. You're going to take the good with the bad. That means that if we're bringing Donovan Mitchell, we got to play a certain style to combat teams that can take advantage of us, meaning score quick and fast.
Score quick, fast. Bring a lot of defensive pressure. What I mean? So when you bring a lot of defensive pressure, that's a great way. Bringing a lot of defensive pressure is a great way to fight against your lack of height. You know what I mean?
It's a give and take. And to me, Sim, with Tibbs, he has to get rid of that defense that he runs, where it's like he's almost doubling guys that he's not supposed to double majority of the time. It kills us every time. Again, we lost again last season with teams scoring threes on us every time. He has to change that.
I'm just talking about how Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell were looking at backcourt.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I'm bringing in a 28-point scorer. If we play a certain way, we can keep up with that on the offensive side because we have to hit back if teams are hitting us with their offense easily. So we gotta be able to hit back when teams hit us back. Period. Point blank.
CL Kenrick, thank you for the super chat. He said, "You think if they get Mitchell, they'll get rid of Fournier and Rose and second-round picks? Seems tough to me. I mean, obviously there would be a lot more that goes into it. I don't think it's just going to be second-round picks. We've been talking about first-round picks the entire show." Brooklyn Butch, thank you for the super chat. He said, "How is this supposed to work with a 6'1" and a 6'2" guard?" That's what we were just discussing, man. We would. Tom Thibodeau would have his work cut out for him. You know what I'm saying? He would have his.
How tall is Evan Fournier? How tall is he?
Like 6'7".
Don't matter.
Evan Fournier is 6'7". He can't play a lick of defense.
Not a lick.
No, we get it.
But you know what? Too,
you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that you don't. When you're bringing in a duo that you're gonna have, you're looking at this duo and saying we're gonna have them for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you don't consider that because you're not looking at saying we're gonna have Fournier here for the next 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But you're looking at this duo and saying we're gonna have them for the next 5 years. because we're committed to these guys. We just committed to Bronson, and we're committed to Donovan Mitchell because we made this move. So I think it's something that you got to at
just
least
think
consider.
about the competition that we going down in the East. Like, look at all the guards and the wings. Like, they just going to run pick and roll on us to death.
Well, I mean,
so, you know,
we would see how they defended it if it were to happen. Let me get to this last phone call, then I'm going to get up out of here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, what's up, son? It's Kareem. How's it going?
Kareem, what's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's up, my bro?
How's it going, fellas? How's it going? Bro, don't come on here with over. Where was you when the Knicks was winning, bro? Where was you at? You disappeared for like 18 years. Now you
When was the Knicks ever winning, bro?
Nah,
What season did we come off of?
You right, the fluke season that had me, bro. You know I was depressed last
Kareem,
season.
just say you miss me, bro. That's all.
I called you too, bro, but I don't know if your numbers are same. But yeah, bro. Shout out to everybody on the panel.
No doubt.
I don't see us getting. I think we full in with the rebuild, man. Like I don't see us making that move.
I mean, see, my thing is, I think making that move is still part of your rebuild. Right now, we just signed Jalen Bronson, who's 25 years old. Donovan Mitchell is the same age. I think that's still part of your rebuild. He's the same age. It's not like he's 30.
Yeah, you can have him through his prime too. So I agree with that.
Yeah. So I think you would
But
still.
do you think we have the best package to offer them?
One of them.
No, one of them. I think you have enough.
Yeah, we do have one of them. Yeah.
And you can sweeten it with major picks. Let's say that the Knicks offered four unprotected first round picks, and then another protected first round pick, and then Miami said, well, we can do the same thing. The Knicks would say, well, you know what? We got 11 second round picks too. And you know, we just committed 5 first round picks to y'all. We got 6 more that we can give you. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Knicks got a lot that they can work with as far as negotiating.
Yeah, and they got a shitload of second round picks too.
They got a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, but you know what's so crazy, Sam? Why Miami always got something to offer? God damn, bro.
I know, man. They're just a thorn in the side. I'm telling you, man. It's always Pat Riley,
they be looking at us like the Knicks think they're gonna do something. Nah, they ain't doing it. We shutting it down.
Pat Riley is
Pat Riley is a hater.
He is a gangster.
He's a hater, Pat Riley.
You said Pat Riley is a gangster out there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, because it's like they always just get deals done, man. It's like don't matter. It's like no matter the year, man. It's like sign and trade or whatever. But I do agree with your take on it. Do you think the Knicks will pull the trigger and do it, or at least try?
I think yes. I think they're gonna try. Yeah, if they know that he's available, I think they're trying. No doubt about it. I think they're trying.
But yeah, you're right. Because the age is not bad.
Yeah. And Leon Rose is very familiar with Donovan Mitchell. You already know. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is a CAA client. You know what I'm saying? He is. Donovan, Leon Rose loves
his clients
with going with people that he's familiar with. So yeah, I think if he's available, the Knicks are trying, and they're trying hard.
Tim, he signed $450 million worth of CAA contracts.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think yeah, definitely though. But yeah, you totally right though. It just because that'd be good, man. And another thing, one more thing before I go, man. I heard Mark talking about us on the pick and roll. I've been saying this for the last few weeks, man. As soon as Bronson signed them dotted lines, he needs to get in the gym. Him, the guards, and the goddamn bigs on our team. We need to practice that pick and roll the rest of the summer.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
Randall need to add it to his game too, because him going to the rim, you're not stopping it.
Yeah,
on a pick and roll.
I think it's gonna happen. But hey,
Kareem, Jalen Bronson need a pick and roll to do what he need to do.
Yeah, he is a pick and roll point guard. You're right. So they need to get that done ASAP. Get it practiced now.
If Randall can't dive on the pick and roll, he gotta go. He got to form to what we need done.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight, man.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, Kareem,
lost a lot of weight.
I appreciate it. I'm about to head up out of here, man. No doubt. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, Mark, come by more often, bro. Don't be fronting. You was gone when we was winning. You wasn't nowhere to be found, bro.
Man, listen, man, you get me when I get up here, man. That's how
You was
it
secretly
goes.
watching Porzingis, bro. We know you was secretly watching.
Listen, man, listen. It appreciates you guys seeing me the way you see me. You know, it's great. So I love you, Kareem.
All right, brother. I'm going to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to CL Kenrick. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I agree. Mitchell would still be part of the youth movement. He would be, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, I'm going to get up out of here. I want you to continue the conversation over on Dope Soul Sports Talk. They're over there right now. Make sure you go on there and check it out. Steph is over there having a great conversation. She's got Stafford Don over there. Jarrell is over there. And she has the bowling chick. You know, she's new to the panel over there. So make sure you go on over there and check out Steph on Dope Soul Sports Talk and continue this conversation over there, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get out of here, Josh, a couple of last words.
Knicks fans just put about this topic, and I think that this their answer changes, every day of the week. Depending on what's going on, they want to keep the young players. They want to get rid of the young players. They want to star. They don't want to star. I think the Leon Rose, they're doing a combination of both. They're not going to save up all these draft picks and draft every single one of these players. You're not going to have a 15-man Knicks roster with all Knicks draft picks on it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that eventually they will swing the bat. So, let's see what happens. I don't think the Donovan Mitchell trade is going to happen this offseason. I do think next offseason, though, look out. Particularly the Jazz don't do well.
Okay. All right. Mark, a couple of last words.
Well, it's just all about being a business owner. We have to compete. So whatever the Knicks got to do to outwork Pat Riley, the King Master, we gotta put it out on the deck because he would just threaten people and get what he wants. Okay, so you can't mess with that, bro.
Dang.
When you got ninjas, when you got black ninjas, you don't know where the hit's coming. So you gotta give up. You gotta give up when he asks. That's all.
All right, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.